So I'm back for more predictions, and this time it is Fight Night, and I think it's 47 now. This is headlined by, again, this is sort of probably a card that could easily be a numbered event, certainly by their main event, which is Robbie Lawler versus Matt Brown. Now, Matt Brown probably forever remembered by his dramatic loss streak to some very high calibre people, but he has since then performed very consistently, getting stoppages on the feet. Robbie Lawler, again, very, very consistent, unless he's facing, you know, very, very high calibre people, like the champion, for example. This is an interesting one because Matt Brown could choose to play the ground game here. I don't think he's going to have. I don't think he's going to be able to overcome Lawler on the feet. I don't really expect Lawler to beat Matt on the feet either. I think this one's going to be a decision, and I think it's going to be a Lawler decision, and I'll say that now. But the only area that I think Matt Brown could switch to, which could be interesting and possibly a danger, would actually be his ground game. Don't know how good he is at that right now, because that's coming from quite a long time ago. So, you know, but that's just something to hold in mind, perhaps. I think, therefore, that Robbie Lawler's going to win, but I will make it a decision victory there. The next fight is Anthony Johnson versus one of the Nog brothers, but it's not the one that you're thinking of. It's the other one. 21-5 for him, 17-4 for Anthony Johnson, who is on quite a good win streak at the moment. At least half of those are finishes. Both really are strikers, but Antonio also has the ground game. Not sure Anthony Johnson does, at least not in statistics when it comes to winning. Having said that, I actually think I'm going to give Anthony Johnson the win here. The next fight is Clay Guida and Dennis Bermudez. Now, Dennis Bermudez has been on quite a roll since losing in the tough finale of whichever tough season it was he was in. The one thing that he lacks is large names, and I'm not saying that he's struggling, but you are talking 2 split decisions in this roll of victories, and 2 other decisions. So Clay Guida is an obvious sort of step up for him, and would be good if he could win this one, because that would be a name. Clay Guida not had such a good time of it recently, but that's because he's fighting serious calibers and has fought serious calibers. He only tends to lose to the highest of calibers. So you're talking, you know, Benson Henderson, Chad Mendes, that sort of level. It may be a bit premature to assume that Clay Guida is on a downward spiral here. He's also incredibly good at the ground, which is not Dennis's area of expertise, unfortunately, and that's where I think that Clay is going to be able to get the victory in this match. The next match is sorry, it's not Carl Kingsbury at all. That's later on. It's Josh Thompson versus Bobby Green. I was getting ahead of myself there in research. I'm going to go for Josh Thompson on this one, although I have to say I think these are rather well matched, these two. The next one, Darren Cruikshank and George Masvidal. I'm going to go for Darren Cruikshank on that, probably on the feet. Now, Kyle Kingsbury, because that's the next one that I wanted to talk about. Interesting one, this. Kyle Kingsbury, bit of a name when it comes to Tough, the old Tough, has lost 3 in a row. At the point at which he was losing 3 in a row, he was only fighting once a year. And then he stopped fighting altogether. And it's been a year or 2 since his last fight. And he's fighting Patrick Cummins, which don't know a lot about, to be totally honest. He does seem to be quite big on the feet. No particular names, not a debutee though. Do you know, usually I would go for Kyle Kingsbury, but I am worried about where he was before he left, and where he might be now he's back. So I think I might go, on that logic, for Patrick Cummins. Heading towards the undercard, we've got Hernea Perpetuo and Tim Means. 20-6 for Tim, 17-4 for the other one. I'm going to go for Tim Means, probably on the feet there as well. Mike De La Torre is fighting Brian Ortega. Don't know where I've heard of Brian Ortega before, but I have looked at his record. It's perfect 8, but he's a debutee. And Mike De La Torre took, what's his chops? Is it Mark Bocek? Something like that. I think it was Mark Bocek. Could be wrong there. He took somebody who was reasonably well rounded to decision recently. So I'm going to go for him. He has got the better record, 12-4. I'm going to go for him on that. Then there's 2 I have no idea about. Akbar Ariola and Tiago Trotter. No idea. I'll go for Akbar Ariola on that. Stephen Seiler and Noad Lahat. 23-12 for Stephen, 7-1 for his opponent. Could be a squash match, might not be. We might be doing Noad a disservice by saying that, because I don't really know anything about him. But I do know quite a bit about Stephen Seiler, and think that, at least on paper, it looks pretty much like he will be able to win that one. So I'm going to go for him there. Andreas Stahl and Gilbert Burns. Again, don't know much about either of these. Perfect records for both of them. 9 for Andreas, 7 for Gilbert. Andreas seems to be the decision king, and Gilbert is good with submissions. I don't know. I'll go for Gilbert Burns on that. And the last one is a women's bout. We've got Juliana Lima and Joanna Jedr, something absolutely unpronounceable. She's got 2 Zs, a Y, 2 Js and a K in her surname. No idea how you pronounce that. She's perfect record of 6, whereas Juliana Lima is 6-1. So I might go for her.